Hi, my name's Ian Mile, creator of ShutIt, and in this video I'm going to show you how to build a simple module, MySql module, which requires a certain amount of configuration. So we're going to configure the container here, build it, and then push it to Docker.io. In the previous video I showed how to set up this server. So we're going to take it as read that you've got a server here. And what we want to do is want to create a MySql module. So the first thing we do is click on MySql. That has now included MySql in the build and any dependencies that are required. In this case there are no dependencies other than the setup module, which is core and is always used, so it's still in bold. But if I wanted to say add Win2048, that would implicitly include, as you can see there, VNC as well. But in this case we're not going to include Win2048, so let's switch that off. And we could build it right here, but actually there are some configuration settings here which we could view, and as you can see there, build is set to true. Build if needed is true. Some of these are actually advanced settings which we don't really need, but it's included by default so that you can see what's going on. In this case we are not going to do repository work on the module, but we'll talk more about pushing later. I want to change the MySql user though to my username rather than the bogus default. The password I will change to, and let's change the root password to MySql root. Confirm that. Now when I build this I'd like to push it to the repository, so I'm going to do repository work, which is just a flag to switch everything on or off, so the other configs can be kept the same. So we're going to set that to true. I'm going to set that to my email address, my repository name, password, which is ShutIt test. We're going to push it. The server is blank if it's Docker.io. There's no need to set that to the default. And my username on Docker is imile. Okay, so the repository settings are there. MySql is configured the way I want it. So let's kick off the build. As you can see, there's 4 windows here. The left window is the list of modules that are visible. These are the publicly available ones in the ShutIt core library, which will obviously grow over time. We have many more in our company at OpenBet, but they're obviously proprietary. Here we have the settings as we've seen, and up here is the container ID in case you need to know it later on. Over here we have the commands that are being emitted during the container build, and over on the right here we have these server logs. This can be useful. This is the config that it starts with, so you can see the initial state of the server. At the top left we have a status window which tells us the current state of the system, and at the bottom here we have some buttons: begin build, reset ShutIt, and export container. Export container will download your container as a gzipped tar file, so you can import it on the command line if you like. Any errors are shown here, and this build status section goes red if that occurs. Okay, so let's wait for that to finish. You can see here it's pushing. This is the server view, and you can see that it's pushing the container up to Docker.io. So that can take some time depending on the speed of your connection and the size of the container. Okay, so the image was successfully pushed. Eventually we can see the tag for revision where it is. On the main ShutIt server page we have a green for done, and if I go to docker.io and search for my name, we should see the container here, 10:49 PM, May 27th. And so I can simply pull that down to my machine at will. Oops. And there we go, the container is downloading. Okay, now that's downloaded, let's spin up the container. And start up MySql. That script comes with the build. That's MySql -p, and the password was MySql test. Oops. Oh, MySql root. There we go. So now I have a MySql container, and that's a demo of how to build a very simple MySql module. In the next video I'll show a more complicated version of building containers. Thank you.